Greetings and welcome to Energize You TV Season 6, Episode number 36. I'm so excited that you're here today. And are you wanting to feel seen, heard, and understood on a soul level? What if the missing piece is hidden inside the part of my story I've never shared until now? You know that neuroscience shows that when we witness someone else's authentic vulnerability, it activates our authentic vulnerability. It activates mirror neurons in our brain, allowing us to feel seen, heard, and connected on a deep emotional level. Wow, that's pretty powerful. And today is the woman behind the shine, me, Angel Marie's Untold story. And I'm so excited to do this, but yet there's a part of me also that is in that place. And I'm so honored again, because this week on the wisdom section that we're going to talk about, my dear friend and sister, Tammy De Mirza, the Breakthrough Alchemist and the bestselling author and speaker, returns to guide me through a deeply raw and revealing continuation of the story that I didn't get to tell. In this part 2, we're going to go deeper into the pain I didn't want to face, the breakdowns I hid behind the smile, and the divine promise that carried me through when I almost gave up. You've seen the energy. You can feel my energy. Now experience the truth behind it and get those golden nuggets that help you to change your life. There's even going to be more, though, that's coming up. What's the energy clearing segment? This is a special exercise to help you to release negative energy within 30 seconds or less that you probably have never done. This never before is done. Now, I know that you want to share this with your friends, your family. So go ahead and be kind and share it now. Smash that button on that YouTube channel so you're the first one that gets all of the energies that I'm sending in. So please do that, because I love to help people get unstuck. And right now there's so much overwhelm, so much things going on, but yet also you're going to also get the energy awareness segment. So let's just move right into that right now, is that segment about awareness. And let's take a moment and drink some water, because when we drink water, we have more clarity and focus. You also all know that I am the energy, the water pusher, and also the breath pusher every morning on Facebook and Instagram. I give you a little tidbit to say, hey, remember to do this. You will feel so much better. So let's dive right in right now. And we'll talk about, science tells us everything is energy. And it's random, but yet it's also in a place where the energy. So it's important to note that it's random and it's moving and shifting and it's responding to what we think, feel, and intend. And if we really take a moment, scientists like Albert Einstein taught us that everything in the universe is connected through energy, even things we can't see with our eyes. And if we think about that, it is all interconnected to the universe, isn't it? Now, while the term biofield and being in that we're in this biofield, and that we might think, ooh, that's kind of sounds woo-wee-woo, but it isn't. In the light workers, we talk about the aura and the aura all the way around you, and the aura that shapes you and is around. But that is scientifically, it is about the biofield. And it's simply an electromagnetic field produced by the movement of ions in and out of the cells. So as we move, this is quantum physics. It is real. We are conducting energy all the time. And that's all that we really are. Isn't that exciting though when you think about it? Because if you think about how our heart and how the heart creates this measurable magnetic field that projects beyond the body. That magnetic field is is our energy, and that energy is a frequency, and all frequency carries information. So being able to understand that you are always in that energy and carrying that information, it's powerful, because inside and all around your body is something called that, and it is called the biofield, and it is your personal bubble. Your thoughts, your emotions, your excitement, or your stress, they all show up in the biofield. So think about when you've been someplace and you felt somebody's energy, or you felt that your stomach just dropped, right? And your stomach dropped and you went, wow, what is that? That's energy. Because many of you ask, Angel, I don't understand what energy feels like. That's what it feels like. It's when it drops. Or when you say, hey, Tammy, you're thinking about Tammy, and I'm thinking about Tammy, and all of a sudden she calls. It's that same thing. That's energy, that's frequency, and it doesn't matter where you're at, because you can feel my energy. You feel me right now. I know you feel it. And in that feeling of that energy, it has, and it makes, and it helps with the connection. Now, understanding that your energy, the emotional frequency vibrational chart, now this is real. The numbers are relative, but yet these numbers, when we look at being in that shame, blame, guilt, fear, trying too hard, coulda, shoulda, woulda, that anger, that pain, that frustration, what happens is we're in a lower vibration. And what happens is if you are in chronic pain, like I am, being diagnosed with lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, Sjogren's, and also neuropathy in my hands and my feet, I'm constantly in that throbbing pain. If I'm in, and when I'm in that, maybe that depression, that emotional state, thinking about something that's happening in my life, what happens is I start to create pain. And I'm hoping this makes sense to you as you bring your energy up to that acceptance, that reason, that love, that joy, that grateful gratitude, that peace, compassion, and ultimately into that enlightenment of over 700 frequencies. What happens is I feel better. And many of you ask, how do you stay in that vibration? And the thing is staying in that frequency, staying in that energy helps me to feel better. And it isn't about being here and being all like that energy coming out. It's not that. It's being in that knowing that I have such grateful gratitude for you, the viewers, the listeners that are coming here every week, that I get excited to be here. I get excited in grateful gratitude, feel the peace and compassion coming through me of how I'm able to show up as the spiritual counselor and helping everyone to get through those times, and knowing that that energy is coming right from here out of my energy, and that is what is important. It's in knowing that I step into this when I do my special work, and that special work comes as the event energy conductor. And when I show up in that place of that conductor, of being that conductor, what happens is it's just like an orchestra. When I'm putting and leading the orchestra, I'm leading the same way with the invisible energy, that biofield of the people, the space, and the event, and tuning and guiding the energy and flowing it the best way and the possible positivity way. And that's what I do. But guess what? You're also that energy conductor also. And you're doing that constantly too. Because what are we really doing with the energy? Because everything is energy. Is what we're doing is we're conducting it. We're managing it. We're balancing it. We're moving it. But the biggest thing that we're doing with this energy as the event energy conductor, but as this, is what we're really doing is we are changing the form of the energy. And when you change the form of energy, you can remove pain. Yes, you can be in a place of joyous and feeling that energy, being that conductor. And that's what you are. I hope this really resonates with you in bringing in that your heart is emitting this magnetic field and your frequency is carried in the information. So I want you to notice that. So wherever you're at, feel this and take those deep breaths. And that goes right into where we want to go right now, which is what I promised you in the next segment, which is the segment of the clearing, that 30-second clearing. But before we do that, let's go into a spotlight moment, because last week we had Brian come on, and last week Brian told us and shared with us about how to relax our energy and our frequency. So here's a spotlight moment with Brian Prezes right now to help you with that golden spirit, that spotlight moment, and that golden.
Beautiful community. It's Brian Pettis here with the Revive You Wellness Spa. I just want to take a moment and thank Energize You TV and the amazing Angel Marie, vibrant, exciting, full of energy. We just had a great time on her show last week talking about the importance of balance in life, finding balance in all the things that we do, finding balance from the inside out. And that's what I want to share with you today, something that you can take away, a good message to apply it for yourself. And that is just simplify things, quiet the noise down, find that quiet place, that stillness, and learn to find that in yourself so that you can hear that intuition, that inner spirit, that God, that inner strength, the universe, whatever that is inside you, whatever you choose to call it, whatever that drives you from the inside. Do that. Just remember, always be yourself. That's what is most important. Just be you.
Isn't that beautiful? I just love that. Just be you. And that revive you. So check out last week's. You'll learn a lot about being you and being able to come into a place of relaxation. So right now, right here, we're going to take 30 seconds, just like I promised you, like no other. And we're going to do a clearing of the negative energy, anything that's coming in. So everybody take a deep breath. And as we take this moment to clear our field, just imagine clearing and cleansing. Look at me if you'd like, or close your eyes, and let me help you remove and release any and all energies, vibrational frequencies, belief systems, ancestral energies that no longer serve you. Take another deep breath and help that just to calm your frequency. Feel my energy, feel my words as we're clearing and cleansing, and just breathe in and absorb this energy from the universe for healing, balance, abundance, stability. Take another breath. Take another breath. Beautiful, beautiful way to do this, and connecting and releasing. And if you would like more of this as we come back into this space and just feel that energy. Do you feel clearer? Do you feel cleansed and relaxed? And I needed to do that because of what's coming up also. But I wanted to tell you that the Spiritual Guidance Collection is here for you. There's 18 different sessions. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, teaching how to step into your awakening. If you're ready for wanting to be and do more, go ahead and scan that and get that together. And that next thing I want to tell you is I would love to give you a gift of the upcoming events that are coming up locally and virtually. Also, many people love my songs, so there you go if you would like to scan that. Also, my book, The Ignite, and the Tai Chi for membership. And this is a online community, and I'd love for you to join. And again, I want to say thank you. You are the one that's raising the energy. You are the one are here, that's supporting this movement and the show. So thank you so much for being here. And as we continue, we have one more thing to do before we go. Before we bring on Tammy to interview me, let's bring on, and we'll be right back after this commercial message.
Traditional business cards are often lost or forgotten. This can lead to missed opportunities and wasted time and money. Java Logics offers a unique solution. Eco-friendly paperless business cards that are easy to update and share. With our QR code, you can share your card with anyone, anytime, anywhere. It's the easiest way to share your details. Interested in getting one? Click on Get Offer and get your own digital business card today.
Shout out to Preston. Thank you so much. And please, everything's going digital. Go ahead and scan that. You'll see my beautiful card. And then get with Preston Martelli because he's out of Canada and he wants to help you out. Tell him, hey, I got this from Angel, and you'll get that Angel beautiful discount on that. And we're almost up to bringing on the beautiful Tammy in the wisdom segment today, which is about me. And I'd like to right now, right here, as you're breathing, as you're feeling this calmness, I want to introduce to you my mama. And my mama is going to tell you about how I got my name. Because there's many, that's the biggest question I get is, Angel, how did you get your name Angel? Is that your real name? And it is my real name. And this is the story. So I introduce you to my brilliant and wonderful mama that we did this many years ago. So here she is right now. Hi, Mama.
Hi, baby.
My name is Angel. Angel Marie Louise Monticelli.
Yes.
How did I get Angel?
Well, it was in Buffalo, New York. You were born, of course. And it was 4 days after you were born. And we were leaving the hospital on the 5th day. And we had to have the name before we could take the baby home. So your father and I thought we were going to have a son. So we didn't have any little girls' names.
Well, what names did you have?
Ronald.
Oh. Okay.
And so my mother came to the hospital to see you, and you were only 5 pounds, 2 ounces. You were just a little thing, 17 inches long. And Mama said, oh, she's just a little angel. And I said, Angel? And she said, yeah, she's just a little angel. And I said, that's what we're going to name her. And your father said, Angela? And I said, no, because then she gets stuck with Angie. I said, no, just Angel. So then we had to put the name, a saint's name. So we put, of course, Marie for the Blessed Mother. And you are Angel Marie Monticelli.
And the Louise came after with...
When you were confirmed, when you made your confirmation, confirmed, you took the name Louise because your Aunt Etta was your sponsor.
Ah.
And her middle name is Louise.
But my real name is Baby.
That's right.
No matter how old I get.
That's right. You're the baby. And you always will be.
Mm-hmm.
You're my baby.
Angel Marie Louise
Monticelli.
Thank you, Mama.
You're welcome. I love that my baby shines. Shine on, shine on, shine on.
I hope you enjoyed that. And welcome, Tammy De Mirza, to the show again to help me to tell my story.
Oh, it's such an honor to be here with you, Precious. I love being in your company and being with your listeners who I know are eager to grow and eager to learn more about you.
Yes. And that's what I've been getting a lot of lately is what is your story and what do you go through? So thank you, Tammy, for coming on and helping me.
Yes, I'm honored.
So you can see the joy that my mama distilled in me, and that laugh is the same as Mama was such a beautiful, beautiful, bright star in my life.
But what was special for me is that you're even allowing us to see that level of intimacy and the energy between you and your mom and the camaraderie and the joy and the excitement. And I also saw at the very end, as she was doing this little jiving thing, I was like, and there she is. She is her mother's daughter. So I was like, oh my God, we're getting to see this intimate view of your life and why you have some of the energy that you do. And what a sacred love you had from your mother. So many of us did not have that. And so I would love for you to share anything that is coming to your mind right now that you want the listeners to know about your mother. If you were to describe her, how would you describe her?
How would I describe her? Mama has always been the one that said I was special and that everyone's special. She's a very Catholic and God-giving, absolutely. And she had always a joy, and you see the smile that she taught me to have. And she's a performer and an entertainer. She's been dancing all of her life and teaching all of her life. And that's why from age 2, that's when I started dancing and performing in front of people. And that she would stop everything to help someone. And that was my mama. And that excitement that she had, and I do this because she would do this and say, I'm so excited. And I remember that. And it was maybe to watch a movie and have junior mints and popcorn, and it was popcorn night. I was raised in this vibration when my dad was very heavy, very scary, and you never knew what was going to happen. But yet, when he was not there, her energy filled the house. And Mama always, no matter what, made me feel special. No matter what was going on with the dyslexia and all of that, and that I wasn't good enough and all the things, Mama was there with a smile. And one of the things is when I was a kid, she would hold me. And I don't think a lot of people got that. And we would hold hands. And that holding, because I was sick when I was a kid a lot. And with the dyslexia, what happened, I would cry a lot. And Mama would just hold me. To take the time. And I don't think that happens now. I'm not sure. That's how I would.
We live in such a world that is a dichotomy. We seem to be shocked that we have positive and negative. But you're such a living example, Angel, of having one parent that was telling you how stupid you were, how awful you were, was abusive. And then the other parent absolutely loving you and holding space for you. We can see that she is effervescent, and we can see that she shines. And what a testimony you are of that great sacred love that she was constantly giving to you, and how you hold that space for all of your listeners.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. And I do want to say that me and Daddy-O, and I used to call him Daddy-O before he left the planet because now he's gone, we did come together. And I really knew and know now that he unconditionally loved me in the older, and we work through all of that.
That is beautiful.
I'm blessed to be able to do that.
Yeah. And how long ago did your dad pass versus your mom being alive now?
It was about 6 years ago. Daddy-O left.
Okay. And you were able to make peace and get closure.
Yes. And it was years before that we used to meet. And that was a beautiful thing, to be able to approach my father. And he was a rage counselor because he used to rage. Isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you give us just a window into this? You got me really curious. I would love to know how you approached him. You know, because you're talking about somebody that was very aggressive, very powerful, very large, and you're small and petite like me. So how does that petite, small go to something that would be very fearful for most people?
Well, the thing is Daddy-O did his work. When he really recognized it, he became that rage counselor. He went through a lot. And the thing is he always accepted me from who I am. But when I was a kid, I was stupid, would get slapped because I was stupid because they didn't understand it. Dad didn't understand it. And now we know that Dad had dyslexia. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. But he used to slap. You never knew when you were going to get punched or slapped. Because I was so little, I didn't get as much because my brother and my sister, they did protect me. They would jump in.
Mm.
And my brother got beat up pretty good one time because my dad was on me. And he jumped in because mom's screaming, everybody's screaming because they think, oh my gosh, he's going to kill her.
Wow.
And the thing is John, my brother, jumped in and he got the brunt of it after that, but I was able to get away. And then after the divorce, Dad went to counseling. And I saw that. And there was many years that I did not talk to my father. And then he started reaching out. And of course I came back. I'll come back to anyone because we all make mistakes. We all are learning.
So he's the one that approached you and your heart was open.
Yes.
What was it like for you the first time that he actually approached you? And had you already done all of your inner healing and you had already forgiven them and you approached it from love, or were you still very cautious, like, I don't know if I can trust you? What was that like for you?
The first time that we did meet up again was I had done all the inner work, but yet, you can do as much as you want inner work and it'll still come back up because everything is energy. And we already talked about that. Mm-hmm. So it did come up. I was fearful. And one of the things that he did is he said something, I don't remember, but it was in that anger kind of way. And I retreated and he saw that and he said, Angel, I'm sorry. I'm not the same person, but I understand that. And we were able to talk. And what we did is we went up to his cabin up in Payson, which is like an hour and a half from Phoenix. And we were there and he brought this plastic bat. And he, at one point, this was when he said, I need you just tell me get mad. And I was able to really scream and yell at him and really get it out. And I took that bat and I beat him. And he just stood there. I didn't hit his face, but I can feel like coming back that it wasn't rage. It wasn't really anger. It was releasing. It was releasing all of what I watched him do to my brother and my sister. And I'm sure to my mom, but I don't know for sure, but I think so. And then to me, and after I was able to look at him and we both are crying. I mean, like, and hugging. And that was so wonderful to be able to shift that, but be able to get that energy out with my father. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, you just brought up a huge topic of getting the energy out and owning. And what I see about this, Angel, is how you stepped into your power and allowed you to be your own spokesperson. Now, for some people who have already transitioned and crossed over, and this work, and I do this work with my clients, it doesn't matter if they're alive or not. You can still release that energy. That's something that I would like for everybody to know. But in your case, you experienced something that I experienced not even in the presence of my family. I didn't know the energy was still there, even though I had done the inner work. I had done the inner healing. I had forgiven. I had acknowledged. I had owned it. I had decided to love them unconditionally. I didn't know that the energy stays there and that I never spoke for myself. Oh, wow. Nobody ever spoke for me. And it was both parents. So one day it was odd because I was feeling this heaviness. And then all of a sudden I heard, can we take over your voice? And I said, yes. I don't know what you're going to do. And all of a sudden I'm saying, how dare you do this to an innocent child who abused me in every way possible? How could you do that? I was innocent. I smiled all the time. Everybody talked about how innocent I was. And once I finished, it was like 30 something minutes, Angel. And I said, what was this about? Why was this important? Well, Tammy, because even though you did all the spiritual work, you did all the healing, getting the energy out, speaking for yourself So can you give your people an idea of something that they can do? Because as you're bringing this up, you're really showing a lot of the journey and how you got free and how the processes and the steps involved in this. What was it like for you after you did it? You're hugging each other, you're crying. And do you have suggestions for your listeners today?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Tammy. And beautiful story about you, and too, and I know that about you, is I believe the feeling I have is that to identify it is to write it down first. And that's what I had to do. I had to spend time writing it down and telling the story. And that wasn't easy because I didn't want to tell the story, especially writing it down. But we all know the power of writing. We do. So writing it, identifying it, connecting to what had happened, that was the important part. And then be able to speak it out loud. And that's what I did, speak it out loud in the mirror, which, that the crying, the emotions to that. And then knowing that I could be free. Now, many of the viewers or the listeners, they're not going to be able to maybe talk to the person. They might not be able to be healed like my dad did. My dad really did the work. Many people don't do the work. So to be able to do that closure was for me to write it, to speak it out loud, and then be able to meet with them. Yes.
Wow. So they can, even if they don't have the person that's approaching them, like, what a blessing that he came to you. That's very rare and very evolved in some ways. But I think you called that to you. In my case, I couldn't be in front of them. They would be screaming and yelling and, being abusive. So I love that and this is what I do with my clients too. No surprise that we do the same thing. I tell them to write it out, and then I will tell them in the next session, you're going to read it to me as if I represent them. So, and the mirror is a fantastic way to get your listeners to let go. We don't realize that we're carrying that energy because we never spoke it. We never honored the fact that we went through it. And we're not trying to be spiritual during that time, are we? We're trying to be real.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Totally real with it. And that's interesting because I did call a friend, a spiritual leader at that time, and said, I need you to hear this and just hold space for me.
Absolutely.
I don't need any comments. Just let me because it was like 7 pages long, just let me get this out. And then I took it and I put it in the fire and I burned it. And I asked to remove and release any and all and to create a more positive environment. And that's when I got to meet with Dad. And then that came all together.
So you're talking about having a ceremony at the end of acknowledging it and then getting it out, owning it, getting it out, and then having a ceremony to release it. What is your favorite releasing method? Because I have mine. I want to know what yours are.
Well, my biggest one is to write it. And I do it in pencil. I don't do it in pen. I want it to be, and I do it in pencil, not on the computer. And then I go outside in my little patio area and I create the medicine wheel, which I call the shining wheel, as we all know, and it's my wheel. So I honor all of the positions on the wheel. I ground myself. I ask for the Christ consciousness and all of my guides, my team, to come in and help me to get through this. And then I take the paper and I it's in a little chimietta, and I make a little fire. And as I'm putting it in, I'm asking that the smoke will go into the universe and release and let go. And I ask that anybody else that might be going through this at the same time, that it will help them. I don't think about them personally. I think of and the collective, because we really are that powerful. And then after that, I sit and I do a meditation, and the meditation is amplifying my heart chakra to move out with so much love to the universe, to all humanity. And then after I do that, I just feel so much better, and that's my routine. What about you?
Oh, well, first of all, just let me say that I can feel your listeners going through a healing because you just gave them a very powerful technique. And we are two healers together, although we don't call ourselves that. That is the ultimate result of people changing their mind. They get healed. So for me, I do the same thing. I write it. I'm very honest. I'm talking about the perception of just being a human, not a spiritual teacher, not somebody that transforms. I'm acknowledging what actually happened. I have to tell you, I was at the vet this morning, and that truth came in again as my little Schnauzer. She's 17 pounds. She's in my arms and she's just shaking and shaking. And I'm saying to her, Poppy, it's okay. It's okay. And she's still shaking. And I went, let her be. She's getting the energy out. So that first step that you're talking about is honoring and acknowledging that you actually felt that it was real for you in a human way. And then what I do is I will read it to somebody, or I'll read it out loud because I can actually see the people standing in front of me, and I read the letter, and then I'll lay it on an altar and I'll take all of the energy and I'll say, I forgive you for everything that you did. Will you forgive me for still holding this, for still carrying this? Today, I set us both free, and I ask Spirit to transmute this to love. So we're doing some of the same things. And then I will burn. My favorite thing is to burn. I have torn things up, and I've put them in the restroom. I've put them in lakes. I've put them in rivers. But my favorite thing is to take the paper and fold it up really thin, long sheet. And then I just take a match or a lighter, and I just hold it while it burns. And I watch it evaporate. And as it evaporates, I can feel the freedom, the letting go process. And then I'll bring in love and light, and I breathe it in through my nose, coming through my crown chakra. And then as I exhale, I'm releasing that which no longer serves me, because there's even remnants sometimes, when you're doing this kind of work. So breathing in love and light to fill that space, that void, because you've been carrying this for a long time, and then releasing it. So I just want to say thank you so much, because I know that listeners for years are going to see this and go, oh my God, that's what I've been looking for. I need to feel free.
Yeah.
So thank you. Now I want to switch gears, if that's okay with you. And I want to talk about the concept of your mother that you introduced to us. And I'm going to really touch on a touchy subject, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
I know that you've had many, many years with your mom. I know that she was about love and support and doting after you and positive and affirmations and really holding space for you. And you got some of her energy, obviously. She was effervescent and shined. What are you going through right now with your mom? And how old is she?
Mama's in her 80s somewhere. And Mama right now she's going through, I don't want to say dementia, but it is part of that. And she's going through where the conversation, she's in California, I'm here in Phoenix. And when I call now, she really can't have a conversation anymore. And I'll say, Mama, what you doing? And she'll say, I'm sitting here watching TV. And she still kind of has a little, but not really. And I'll say, Mama. And she'll say, what, Angel?
Why is that significant?
Because you saw in the video, all I've ever been is baby. And that energy of, hi, baby, is always been. And now it's, hi, Angel. And it's a angel. And it's like pierces me that she calls me Angel. And it took a while for me to get out of the emotion that she doesn't call me baby anymore. And there was a time when I asked her to stop calling me baby. Stop calling me baby. It was 10 years, whatever. I'm not the baby because, I don't want to play that role. I don't want to be in that vibration of the baby. And now, if she would just call me baby, that would be So it is challenging. I call every day, and she picks up the phone and she'll say, "Hi, Angel." And I'll say, "What's going on, Mama?" And she'll say, "I'm eating, I'm watching TV." And it's so, that energy. And if my sister's not there to kind of help with the conversation, that's really where it ends. And I'll say, "Did you sleep well?" And she'll say, "Yeah." And then I sometimes hear in the background, "No, she didn't sleep at all today." She's not remembering anything, but she still knows I'm Angel and not the baby.
What was
So
it like for you the first time you heard her call you Angel instead of baby? Because that's like you see a departure, you see some kind of transition. What was that like for you?
the first time she did that, I stopped. It was like a piercing through my heart. It was like, wow. And I could feel that it was almost like she wasn't really with us in this dimension. And viewers, I know that might be yours, might be a little difficult, but understanding there's different dimensions. And I just felt like she was coming in and out when it first started, because then I'd call or I'd say something and she'd say baby. And I'd be like, oh, okay, now she's back. But now what it is there's no baby. There's nothing like that. And it drops my heart. It drops my stomach. And it's challenging because like I see her deteriorating before my eyes. And I want to remind her and say, "Hey, Mama, do you remember when we did?" And you can't do that because it shames her into that she doesn't remember anything.
Wow.
So I just start with, I just do all kinds of stories and make her laugh. That's what I do now. And then because she is very Catholic and always has been, she remembers some of the prayers, like the Our Father who art in heaven. That one she kind of remembers. And then we'll sing, Amen, 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 Amen. Let me hear it now. And she'll say, Amen, when I do that. And then I'll start, and she'll be like, yeah, man. She kind of still gets that one. But then sometimes when I call, there's nothing.
So I'm sure that a part of you, every single time that you talk to her every day, you're hoping, can I get a remnant? Can I get some remembrance? Because letting go of somebody is very difficult, and especially somebody that's played such a pivotal, important role in your life. Do you find yourself every day hoping that you're going to get a glimpse of it?
Yeah. When I call, I hope that she'll answer and say, "Hi, baby. What are you doing?" And it's not like that. Yeah, every day there's a hope. But then there's also a knowing, right? That, I could go through the laundry list of everything that the doctors are saying. It's a gift every day that she answers the phone. But then it's also, go ahead and go, Mama. And that might be different for you listeners to hear that. But Tammy, I think you understand what I'm saying. You've gone through that before.
Yes. It's so what you're really talking about is the process and the journey of really having to honor the sacred decision of an individual to actually transition. That is not easy, is it?
No, it's very emotional, and some days it does take me down, and I take the time when it does, because all of a sudden I'll get emotional, and you know this, and I can't stop it. There's no stopping it, and it is Mama, and I have to do what? I have to cut the cords to my Mama for one, so I'm not connected and feeling that energy, because I'm here working, I'm doing. And then the other part of it is taking a moment to cry and be in the energy, clearing it, writing it, and maybe even doing a quick burn and going, "Okay, Mama, you got your own contract. You do you." And then it's also that guilt sometimes of, go ahead and go, Mama. Go, Mama. Go see my stepdaddy. He's waiting for you. It's okay to go. No.
That's really hard because on the one hand, you want her to stay because she's been such a support system for you. And it's such a loss. So you're going through a grieving process. But on the other side, you've got this beautiful heart of you that is saying, I want you to go. What have you decided what that process will be for you? I know I've helped clients to go through this with their parents or themselves. I've had three clients that were cancer that decided to go. And I would know. And as soon as I would see them, I'm like, you decided to stay or you decided to go? And they would go, yes, I knew you would know. So as a sensitive, as a spiritual being, Angel, you are 10 to 100 times more aware of where she is in this process. And yet you're human too. Can you talk about that a little bit? And then what is your process to releasing that, letting her go, knowing she's here sometimes and she's not here sometimes? Because guys, I'm going to tell you, when people are in transition, sometimes they're not in their body. And I've seen it.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying about being in the dimension. It is. And how do I do that? You know, every time I'm hopeful that she'll answer and she'll say, hey, baby, and she'll tell me a story. And it's the acceptance part, is accepting that she is on the other side a lot of the time, and all she wants to do is sleep, and that she doesn't get what she's doing, and understand that, and be able to show up for her in a way that she hears me and we are laughing, that I'm not shaming her at all of, don't you remember, or I heard that you took your pills this morning and you dropped them all into the orange juice. Instead of taking the pills, you dropped them all into the orange juice when she wasn't looking. Right. You know, we don't bring those things up. And I think that's the important part, is just moving forward and where she's at, and then being able to get off the phone, which is so hard because I'll say, Mom, okay, I got to go. I have a meeting, or I'm going to go. And she'll say, oh, okay, I love you. I love you. And I'll say, I love you, Mama. I love you. And she used to be, I love you, baby. And now it's, I love you. But she'll keep saying it and she won't hang up. Because she doesn't get to hang up. So I'll say, Mama, I'm going to hang up. I'm going to hang up now. I love you, Mama. Because for me, if I don't want to hang up on my mama, and then that's the last time I talk to her. I don't know when that's going to be. It could be years, but yet I know what the doctors are saying. I know what's going on. So helping her to move to the other side is letting her go and saying energetically, spiritually, soul to soul, and I actually do this, Mama, soul, I'm talking to your soul. And I'm saying, it's okay. You've been a great mama and you can go now. Don't hang on for me. I'm good. The baby's good. I'm fabulous. Mama, you go. That's what it's like.
You are proving that you are a spiritual master. Mm. Because one is surrender to what is. And not needing to control it, or not needing your mom. Two is acknowledging that you are going through the emotional transition yourself. You're grieving. You're going through every step of the grieving process. You're already ahead of the game before she even transitions. Because three, you're aware of the signs and you're hypersensitive to what those signs are. But the fact that you want to honor the fact that this is a holy and sacred and individual decision that a being makes when you really want them to stay. Yeah. That is mastery level. And I just want to say, I see you, and what a testimony you are of strength in the midst of a painful journey. Because I'm sure that a part of you, and I will tell you that in working with clients, one of the biggest pains that I know is that people never got to resolve things. Well, as we talked earlier, you got to resolve this with your father. So the pain wasn't as great because you were free and clear. And you and he were able to work through it in this lifetime. And you're doing that with your mom, even though there's not the same issues. You're doing it by accepting and honoring. And I know, because there was a period of time that my mom had Guillain-Barré, and I had to do things with her and her body that no daughter should ever have to do. And we wept. We cried. But she actually needed the help. So there's not just the emotional facet to this, but Angel, when you're actually in person with her, right?
Yeah, there's stuff. Yeah, and I just make her laugh through it. I would just make her laugh through it. I'm like, look at me. I'm doing what you did when I was a kid, Mama. I am. Aren't we having fun? Oh, baby. And she would say, she had that last time, a couple times. Oh, baby, I don't like this. And I'm like, it's okay, Mama. We're having some fun, Mama. And then we're going to go eat. And then she'd be like, oh, okay. And it's like she completely forgot about the shame of what I was doing physically to help her, that she needed the help.
Right. But it's hard to watch, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. It is. And we only have a few more minutes. So.
Well, what would you give your listeners as takeaways from today and what you have shared about both of your parents and freedom?
I really believe that the biggest message, and you brought it out, is the acceptance part. Accepting and surrendering to where the person is and letting them go, letting them be in that place. And even with the rage and what happened with my dad, to the beautiful acceptance and always made me feel special and loved my mama and fun. Oh my gosh, we always had fun. And she taught me that, and how to really dance this life. Mama taught me that, is to accept where she's at now and go ahead. And Angel and you listeners, it's okay to be emotional and shut down. I have actually counseled on a couple clients because I was not in that energy, and nobody knows, because I don't put it on social media. Nobody knows what I'm going through every day in this when my sister calls and tells me something else. And it's a big deal. So that's what I want the listeners to hear.
I would love for everybody to know that they can emulate your strength. They have that within them. And if you can do it, they can do it.
Yes, they
and
can.
All of us have death and loss. And it's interesting because something that I'm looking at right now is talking about the ending of something. There's always a grieving, whether it's a relationship or whether it's a friendship or whether it's a business thing. Every single one of your listeners are going through or have recently gone through or about to go through some level of end and transition.
It is. And I want to say thank you to the viewers for listening, and I hope this was helpful. And Tammy, thank you for holding the space and getting me through this, because it is very emotional for me to go through this. And thank you so much for being here.
I love you.
For me.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. Let's say goodbye to Tammy. And until I get to see you next time, we'll bring in a little bit of the song. We don't have much time, but we will, because I love my song. And let's just change that energy, right? Let's change that energy. There we go. Thank you for coming on. I just adore you, Tammy, and love you.
I feel the same way. I just love you, and I love what you're doing.
And we're just going to do one part.
Ask for what you want. Show them what you got.
Show them what you got. Bring up that energy. I know, Tammy. Thank you. I'll see you in a minute. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Keep shining your light. You have the ability to remember that you are the beauty. You are that wonderful. So change your mindset. And let's do that now. Let's change our mindset. Change your mindset. Ignite your energy and shine on. Until I get to see you next week, thank you so much for showing up and being here.